Welcome to episode 200 something of
It's
Snobcast.
the longest Snobcast running out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's actually the only one in English.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
especially in this province.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I think the other one's German or
Yeah, it's
Oof.
very weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Das Snobcast.
Das
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Geoffrey Appelbaum is here.
Hi.
We're very glad to have you back,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We say have you back because the last time you were here was a botch.
It was a bit of a botch.
You came all the way from buttfuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the woods.
Yeah.
No, you were like on the road with Rodney Ramsey. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
During
right.
a blizzard.
During the blizzard.
During
we
the
did- we hit
blizzard.
Pembroke, Petawawa, Ontario.
Petawawa.
Petawawa.
In the blizzard. We almost died on
Yeah.
the highway.
And to come here,
Yeah.
and then you came here. We recorded a podcast.
Yeah.
Tom goes home and tries to edit the podcast. Goes, hey, I can't hear anything that's happening on this podcast.
Everything just sounded as if it was coming through a 1930s radio.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it was just...
Oh, it wasn't like...
No.
Yeah. We got the comedy show coming up here. Like, nothing like that.
No, but that's great.
well, like,
the bad side of the 1930s.
The bad side? No.
Also, there was the depression.
Somebody's shining my shoes here. No, anyway. Yeah, that'd be the bad side of the 1930s.
Some
Yeah,
the depression.
Yeah.
Some people would say that's the majority of their lives.
They were lining up for soup, and we couldn't hear the audio, see?
In the blizzard.
In the blizzards.
So, yes, thank you. For coming
Thank
back.
you. No, it's
No,
a
no,
pleasure.
no, thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
And, of course, we've got Chef Tom here.
Hello.
Hey, Chef Tom.
And Hype Man Steve.
Oh,
That's me.
who, by the way, guys, Hype Man Steve, finally on the poster.
He's on the March poster.
Yeah.
It happened.
Johnny, I saw your post when you said, should I put Hype Man
Yeah.
Steve on the
Mhm.
next show? And
You voted
I
no.
definitely voted no. But it
So
looks
did
like...
Tom. So did
Yeah,
Tom.
I was messaging him to tell him, in case you don't see it, I voted no.
Yeah. It's like, there's no way I'm headlining a show at the Leonardo da Vinci Center with Hype Man Steve on the poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it turns out that
You are.
I'm no longer headlining it, and Steve is going to headline it. and I'm on the show.
Just Steve being awkward the entire time.
Just
Sweaty palms. and all.
45 minutes of cock
So,
jokes.
are you guys hyped for the show? Get off the stage.
Oh my God, this is so long up here. I have
You know
another 44 minutes.
Oh, you would,
You
if
still
you would-
excited, guys?
If you would show up a bottle and a half deep in the pocket, then it would be a different show completely.
Yeah.
So yes, Jeff is headlining the CLDV Comedy Lounge on March 27th.
So
You're
excited.
very excited.
It's my first Montreal headline.
Oh, amazing!
We're making dreams happen.
Oh
here.
my
Yeah.
God!
They used to send me out on the road. I done like back in 2017. I did like every small town in Ontario,
Even Petawawa.
even Petawawa, but not for for like West Petawawa.
There's a West.
I feel like that's where all the pedophiles might live.
Well, yeah, PEDO. Anyway, but no, I love Petawawa as a. But no, they would send me and they go, okay, cool. Can you headline with 40 minutes? And I'd be like, yes, but I had maybe 15 minutes at the time, and then the rest was just crowd work. So it would consist of like me doing a few jokes, getting laughed, and be like, so where are you guys from? They're like, Petawawa. I'm like, all right, great, moving on.
Are you confident doing crowd work? Is that
I love doing crowd work. I do,
Okay.
but I don't do it. I mean, I do it out of joy. I don't do it out of necessity anymore.
okay?
Yeah, but I do love it.
So when you host the Nest, for example,
Yeah.
the Comedy Nest, like you do it just
Yeah, and I take great pride in it.
Okay.
It's a good measure for how well the night's gonna go.
okay.
And I did what I call a 10 for 10. I think I hosted a couple weeks ago, which is out of the gate we're supposed to do 10 minutes,
Mhm.
and if I can get as close to 10 minutes just doing crowd work and relying on the laughter that I was getting from the crowd work
That's amazing.
without having to go into my material, like that's my score.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and I
awesome.
actually got a full 10 minutes without having to say one of my own crafted jokes. It was the audience was so down.
That's awesome.
And for some reason, everybody had weird names that night. They all like somebody was like Electra, and another one was like Canambria.
so they're all strippers.
It was all strange. It was very weird, and very few of them were clothed at the end. And but no, it was just strange. But like just
As
that
tends to
weirdness.
happen at
At the
Geoffrey Appelbaum
yeah, at one of my
show.
shows, yeah.
Yeah.
Most people throw their clothes off and throw it at me in a rage.
Take off your bra.
Oh, boy. But yeah, so yeah, no, I do love crowd work.
And you're comfortable doing it. Like,
yeah, totally comfortable
okay.
doing it. Yeah.
And do you consider yourself like, because since I host the CLDV,
yeah.
Emil, Corey, and Reginald, they're always like, "Oh, you should work on your crowd work, like practice your crowd."
They said
work.
that to you?
They say that to me, which
Okay.
so I started doing it like
Yeah.
out of just making fun of people.
You
and
did a
things.
very good job, by the way.
On Friday I did well.
Yeah.
I told you.
nice.
Yeah, but I'm not good at comebacks. Like, so if someone were to tell me something, like I'm not like quick
With the comebacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, how do you do that? How are you quick? Like,
I don't know because I'm not thinking. I'm
Okay.
never thinking logically
Yeah.
in the moment, which sounds. I see the look on both of your faces. You're like, "Oh my god!"
No,
But
I
I
get
never like. I shut off the. I go with the first instinct,
okay.
and so whatever my first instinct, I kind of pretend that I'm at. And this is just my style because I'm not like a shutdown crowd work. I don't like shut people down. Like and especially as a host, you're more trying to bring them up.
You play with them.
You're playing with them. You're trying to get them warm, and then like when I'm doing like my own set, and if I do happen to do crowd work, I can push down a little bit, and they already know me, and they're already warmed up, so they'll laugh at that. But as a host, I kind of pretend that I'm at a dinner party, and we're all standing around in the kitchen getting to know each other.
Okay.
So I just let the conversation become funny, kind of on its own. And like, if somebody says their name is Electra after 4 other people have just said a weird name, I just drop the mic. I'm like, I gotta leave. I gotta go. And yeah, see, and that's funny because that's it. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I just kind of like because it's an awkward situation because like you're standing up with a microphone in front of hundreds of people, and then you're like, tell me something about you, and you point the microphone at them, and then there's automatically tension.
I used to be senior editor for Penthouse Forum. where do you go from that?
And we'd be like, well, the handicap area is upstairs. I think you got the wrong room here. But then I'll just let that tension do its own thing and then not try to like impose anything on it unless the guy's like stupid drunk.
How did you first start the like? You had that confidence. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do crowd work. How did like that go those first few times?
I never had confidence. I never did.
He still doesn't.
It was like somebody gave me a spot to host, and I was like, oh, okay. And I just went in the moment. I remember my first crowd work on a girl in 20. It was a girl. No, it was a girl. And we actually ended up hanging out after the show. And I said, like, where are you from? And she says something like, she said what I thought was China. And so I said, China? And she was just a white girl. And I said, China. And everybody starts laughing. And she goes, no, Toronto. But so I was like, but the way she said it was like, China. And I was like, China? You don't look Chinese.
It was probably a really fast Toronto.
It was. It was exactly what that was.
Oh,
and so,
God.
like, I said what I heard, and that was my first time. I still had no idea what I was doing, and it just worked.
Yeah.
China.
Yeah.
China.
Yeah.
From China.
China. Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Comedy Nest is still working well with this whole coronavirus. People all together, coming together.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I performed in a biohazard suit the other night.
Okay.
my
And
God.
nothing got through to me. It was fine.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, I performed it. I was like, so who's from out of town? And it was fine.
Toronto.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back to Toronto. It's funny because I the other night I'm part of this fake Italian wedding interactive show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
great.
we played Ottawa the other night, and we're doing Montreal.
Could you kind of tell our viewers how that works? What
Give
it
me a
is?
second.
Well, we don't have
Oh
any
my
viewers.
God.
We have,
Yeah, we
Oh,
have. It's
yeah.
just it's just Jeff.
Jesus.
Some people watch. Some people watch with their eyes. I mean, we probably have some fans that take like acid.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
You
they
know?
just see
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
they can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Ottawa the other night we did this. So it's Joe and Mary's wedding. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And it's a fake Italian wedding. It's like overblown. Like
Oh my God, so
Italian
Italian. Joe and
festivities.
Mary.
like the main meal is like chicken parm and like
No.
pasta.
For real?
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Sick.
and they're doing that same show in Toronto, and
China.
that it's a different cast, so I'm not part of that one. But they got an email saying, "Do you guys issue refunds just because I don't want to be in the same room as that many people with the coronavirus going around?"
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's they're trying to start that here. Yeah.
That's messed up.
That's fucked
Well, that's
up.
the one thing that I'm concerned about with it. I'm not concerned about getting sick. I'm concerned about the economic slowdown out of the fear.
Okay.
So I actually got some extra canned food yesterday. I stocked up on a lot of food just in case, in case
It's a
prices
smart-
go up.
Honestly, it's a very smart thing to do.
I get home. I got this Italian soup, like it was a conserve. It was conserved, so I had to put water in it. I opened the can and I try to scoop it, and I just slice the top of my hand open, and I'm like, here I am trying to survive in the woods. I'm gonna kill myself with a frigging can.
All the Italians.
And tetanus. Yeah, I was like, you Italian. And it was funny because the way it was written on the soup was like in the back, you could tell it came off like it was a really defensive Italian cook, because it said it doesn't need salt or pepper. It's perfectly fine the way it is. And I was like, that sounds like, bro, no, it's fine. Just
It's
don't
fine.
put the salt down. Put
You
the salt.
could put a bit of Parmigiano.
No, it said no cream either, because it doesn't need cream. It doesn't need salt. Like, it's the way it was written.
You think I don't know how to do a fucking soup?
That's exactly.
You eat it like this, all right?
That's exactly how it came off.
You forget the water.
Yeah, you want to play chef? You want to play chef?
Oh, you know what? What if it was from one of Jerry's companies, Colvina Cuisine?
Colvina Cuisine.
It sounds like it. He's very,
Yeah.
When
Jerry-
it comes to cooking, there no room for
Jerry Colvina
negotiation.
is a very prominent guest here on the Snobs.
Yeah.
We don't know what he does.
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't know what he does really.
Yeah.
He's just very intense.
He's the voice.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
he comes in and out
I'm
sometimes.
terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't be here today.
No.
So the show got canceled because of that, or they canceled their tickets?
No, I don't even know. I don't think they're going to issue refunds for that. But
Why people actually left?
No. So
Wait.
so this was.
That's outside.
Oh, that's outside.
Yeah.
What's
nothing.
going on?
It's somebody dragging a sled.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, guys, leave your kids at home.
Yeah.
We're trying to record
So
a podcast.
no, the other night was Ottawa. They get the email like, oh my god, guys, look at this email, and they're like, oh yeah, we have a refund because we don't want to be in the same room, and we just laughed it off.
Yeah.
As Italians would do,
Right.
Everything. I was like,
Yeah.
that's what they're scared of, the coronavirus, not the mafia. But I don't know how they're gonna handle that.
That's so.
I have a
that's so
lot of
ridiculous.
shows this month. I have to fly to Temiskaming in 2 weeks. Yeah, and I'm more concerned of like, oh no, the show's going to be canceled because of blah blah blah.
But
We
in
can't-
Temiskaming for real.
yeah,
You
I
actually have to fly. Like I knew it was.
I'm
far,
going
but
there
I
with
didn't know it was that
Chantal
far.
Desjardins. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
cool.
going up for and we're Julie
Dench?
Kim.
I was thinking
Dame
it
Judy.
too.
Hey, you want to hear some jokes? Okay, so what do you get when you have 4 horsemen and 1 carriage? A fast ride, because there's 4 horses.
Dame Judi Dench, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
So you're scared of just like the travel, like the airplane.
Well, I'm not. No, I'm actually not. I was originally, and then I looked into it, and it's like with someone who's in fine health, it's not going to affect them.
No.
It generally affects the elderly and
Right.
people who already have
Immune deficiencies.
Yeah,
and-
so I'm not. I'm concerned with events being canceled
Yeah.
because in Japan they've canceled a lot of public events.
Right.
Yeah, so that is more what
But
concerns
they're
me.
very clean in Japan. Like it's normal.
I like the
that they
way you
would do
said it.
that.
It was all like mystical. They're very clean,
But
in
they
Japan.
are. They are. I want
They're
to go.
clean people.
I want to travel to Japan, and this is weird, but I have to see how amazing their public restrooms are. Apparently,
Really?
they're super clean.
I would like that.
That's super specific.
any public
Yeah.
public restroom you go piss on the ceiling. There's
mean-
always like there's always this. Everything's always like the
An
counters
unchanged
are wet.
baby laying around.
Yeah. No, but the counters are always wet, and there's like soaked like napkins and towels, and you're like, who? Did they come in here and they forgot how everything worked?
And then that congealed the soap spot.
Oh yeah,
The
pink. There's just a pink soap ring that's like faded.
Or you
Yeah.
press on the soap dispenser and it's empty.
Yeah,
And you're like, how am I gonna wash this?
And it's just crust at the
It's just
bottom.
crust.
Don't you
on
love
the
those
inside.
sinks where you press the button and the water comes out, but it comes out like as if it's being pumped by squirrels or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
really
exactly.
slow? And it
You
just
have 4 seconds
yeah,
under.
and it's just enough time to wet 3 fingers, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be like a long process.
I still
Yeah.
have soap residue on my fingers.
And then it has the drawing of like how to properly wash your hands
And
like,
scrape your nails.
Get the knuckles. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no time for any of that with this thing.
And then you go
And
to
that's
dry
how
your
the coronavirus was created.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
You go to dry your hands, and one of 2 things happens. Either they have the Dyson ones that you put your hands inside, and your entire chest gets wet with whatever.
No, those are
What
not
are you
bad.
doing?
It happens.
Out
The
of
air
all the
blade-
hand dryers, that's the best hand
Yeah,
dryer.
You think?
100%.
I don't know about you, but I hear the high pitched part of the air with
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was like, oh no, something's wrong with our
I actually
audio.
have to put my tongue on my teeth because I get so sensitive to that one. It's like that blade of air, and it's like, oh my god, that is good. That is good, guys. That was not me. I'm known for my sound effects. That was not.
Yeah, that was great, Tom. That was actually great.
And then you have the other ones that it's like the accelerator or whatever it's called. That it blows like the. It's like it's as if there's an old man that's just like wheezing 2 kilometers away, and they got a tube connected.
How did you do that again?
What the
blade,
Dyson one?
Yeah.
Perfect. You can do a voiceover for that now.
That was perfect.
No, Dyson definitely the hand ones are definitely the best.
Those are the best hand dryers.
But
because
apparently-
I prefer. I'm always a guy that loves paper towels.
Yeah.
But
Your hands are dry when they come out of
But
those.
my
It's
hands
not
are
like
dry
you
when they-
leave and you gotta go. You gotta like,
Yeah.
you know, you
that's
gotta like
disgusting.
chest
Tom
it,
just rubbed his nipples, but
Yeah.
yes.
as if my hands were full of like gunk.
Yeah.
Gunk. What a word. So coronavirus.
Yeah. Shout out to public restrooms, guys.
yeah.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands all the times,
And your knuckles.
don't pay $150 for a box of masks. You'll be fine.
It's fine. No,
You'll be fine.
It prevents you from spreading it to somebody else.
Yeah, it
That's all
doesn't
I've
prevent
heard.
you from getting it.
From getting it,
No, it's
no.
not a sealed mask.
Jeff does
No.
go on stage and wear the mask, but
Well, that's
you know,
the thing is I do have to touch. Like I was hosting the other night, and
Yeah.
there's like 10 comics on the show, and like
and you're like,
anytime the mic even comes close to my mouth, I run backstage
Oh,
and
Jesus.
scrub my. But I'm like a hypochondriac anyway.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
like hardcore.
like hardcore. Like my car, there's a huge vat of antibacterial soap in the left-hand door.
Okay.
And I can it's so big that I don't
On
even have to
demand.
reach down. It's just
His girlfriend's like also a hypochondriac.
I've
Yeah.
not been sick in 48 and a half months.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I just
Wow.
don't get sick. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And when I do,
Good
it's
for
like
you.
once a year for 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah.
That was the one where I almost lost the voice gig for.
Oh,
Did I
Yeah.
tell you
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that
you
one?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but we'll
lost
tell
my,
our
yeah.
listeners,
So
yeah.
I'd gone on a comedy gig in Ottawa, and I opened for Mike Ward,
Nice.
and then I came back and I had a voice gig that Tuesday, and it was like for a substantial amount of money, but then my voice was gone by the Sunday night. So I all day I was just sucking on Cepacals, Cepacals the next day, and like
And you're not
praying
saying that
to
just
God-
because you're the voiceover for Sepulchre.
No, I'm not
Okay,
saying that. It's
all
a
right.
fantastic product, and and I am the spokesperson for it. But actually, Rodney Ramsey is in the commercial that I voiced. But I didn't think I was going to make it. And then Tuesday, they were like, if you're not well by 5:00 on Monday, you should call to cancel. I'm like, I can't afford to cancel it because it was a substantial gig. And I get there Tuesday, and all I had to do was say one word.
Oh,
I had to go, Vachon! That was it.
No.
That's all I had to do.
That was amazing
it.
the way
that
you
was
said
like,
it.
Vachon! That was it. And then they even morphed it higher than that. So it was like, Vachon! Like it was like something crazy like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
And there was your check.
That was it.
Yeah.
Done. Checks, residuals, finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
So imagine you would have canceled, then like 2 weeks later you run into somebody you know. Oh yeah, I got that gig in the end. All I had to say was
One word.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Could you
Like,
imagine if it would have been somebody else who really takes it like super seriously and super hard, and they were like in the mirror every day practicing, like with the script in front of them?
But
Like,
they didn't know.
But they didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, 'cause
No.
we don't get the scripts ahead of
Yeah.
time.
oh, okay.
for some reason.
Yeah, but
Wow.
it's copy because a lot of times the copy because they're still working on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
not
also,
on that
what would
one.
you need? Just a script with a word that says vachon.
Yeah, vachon.
So for those who don't know what vachon is, it's like cakes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a French hostess.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We have a
like,
ton of
like
products.
Twinkies and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, a lot of good
Yeah.
products.
Oh my god.
Wonderful.
Delicious.
So good.
Do you ever eat those? I don't know. I feel. Oh god, I can't believe I'm gonna say. I think that they're called whoopie pies.
No, what are these?
You,
They sound
I knew I was
amazing.
gonna get something somewhere.
They sound amazing.
It's like it's I don't know if you've ever seen those. It's like the really soft oatmeal cookie. It's two of them sandwiched with cream inside.
yes,
But they also have them in chocolate.
Oh,
Yeah. And they're great.
They sound great.
Yeah.
Whoopie pies.
Whoopie pies.
That's
Not to
how I'm just gonna-
not to get them
Whoopie.
mixed up with
So
Whoopi Goldberg.
I just found out something. I have to share this with you guys because this story just happened today, and it dovetails into something that we discussed last time.
Okay.
So I have a friend of a friend. So anyway, she's a girl who lives with her boyfriend, and they have 2 daughters who are absolutely adorable, and they have a large dog.
okay.
And they lived at the top of a triplex. Now I haven't heard from them in a long time, so I messaged her. I'm like, "Where are you? I haven't heard from you forever." She's like, "We had to move. I can't get into it, but we'll talk soon." I'm like, she's like, well, we can talk for an hour. I'm like, I don't have an hour to give you. Anyway, so her brother-in-law filled me in on what happened was that she lived in a triplex on the top floor. Now, I don't know if you guys know, I live in the woods. One of the things I couldn't stand when I was living in the city was living underneath people who would walk like really hard. You know what I mean? God. And that was just like one or two people. Yeah. But she had 2 kids and a large dog. Yeah. And her boyfriend would be fighting a lot and just stuff that I didn't even know was going on. And so basically a lot of people had moved out, and I didn't know that. A lot of people had moved out. And the front door was always unlocked, and the 2 dwellings were shared by her family and whoever was underneath and constantly moving out. And of course, everybody had locked doors, but the front door of the triplex was always unlocked, and they would share a communal washer and dryer room. And anyway, the final family that was living underneath them were from Syria, and they were here recently. They came here recently, and what happened, under difficult circumstances, they came here. Anyway, long story short, they had moved out because of noise. And then a couple of weeks later, my friend goes into the washing machine to go from the washer to dry and found that somebody had come in through the unlocked door and bleached their entire clothes, including their children's clothes.
No.
Yeah. And my thought
was,
an
asshole thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that I I also really empathize with the Syrian family because of the noise, because it was just like the thumping is that. But the fact is that the other next thought that hit me was like, she was so loud that a bunch of Syrian refugees went, "Fuck this, that's enough." That's enough.
No more.
Civil war is one thing, but this I'm not putting up, and they left like that. That
is pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
actually,
that's how hardcore that was.
That's amazing. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yo, imagine all your clothes get bleached.
I would
snap.
Especially that all my clothes are black.
They had a teenager living with them downstairs, so it seems like it was the teenager that did it.
Whatever is going to be black is going to come out like a bright orange.
Yeah, all my clothing are black.
Yeah.
All my clothing? Is that what I just
all your
said?
clothing.
Yeah. Well, you tried. You tried.
Your cloths.
Your cloths.
Your cloths.
Your sackcloths.
Jeff, but you had another story too that your
Well, that's because the thing is neighbors are bad.
Yeah.
People don't know how to live anymore.
Oh god, don't even talk to me about neighbors.
So I moved up north last year to a cottage that I rented, and there was like a husband and wife in their 60s, but they were very active. In fact, they would drink all the time.
Oh, sweet.
And they had this dog that they refused to put on a leash, and this dog basically crapped all over my lawn, like 7 different piles I would find. And
what a shit thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. And you were so subtle about. You knew right what to do. We were all like, ha ha ha. You look right down and you just hit but you're like, swipe.
That's actually Eddie Murphy being James Brown.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it's a great laugh.
It kind of takes the sarcasm out of it, though. But yeah.
So yeah, the dog shitting on your lawn.
So this woman, she's like, laying around all day, and her husband's like, anyway. So, I messaged her and I was like, hey, could you not do that? And she was like, listen, I don't know who you think you are, but my dog goes wherever she wants. Don't take it personal, though.
Oh, Karen. She was a Karen.
Don't take it personal.
It was don't take it personal. She really wrote those things. And so it ended up being, and then she started threatening me over text and
such a roller coaster of text. Oh,
it just kept
she'll
going.
do what she wants, but honestly, don't don't be mad.
Don't be mad. Don't take it personal. You're still a good person. You know what I mean?
And she probably sent it with the poop emoji.
But the dog still speaks well of you, so don't be mad.
Yeah.
So anyway, it ended up going back and forth where I would tell her, okay, well you're gonna have to stop because and they're like, we've lived here for 25 years and no one and so basically it ended with her banging on my door one night, and I had to call the police.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, at
late at night or
late at middle of the night, calling my name in the middle of the night, going Geoffrey, like that, but completely nuts,
like horror movie.
It was like horror movie stuff. I was getting ready for bed, and I hear this in the middle of the woods. You know what I mean? And it's horrifying. And so it was this summer of crap where it's they would no pun intended. Yeah,
literally.
Yeah. That's the name of this episode.
And they would say things they had garbage cans that they wouldn't put on their property. They would put them on the neighbor's property, which was right next to my lawn. and I said to them, why do you not put your garbage on your own property? And they're like, oh, it doesn't look good on ours.
No.
Like, it was like right away. Oh, no. We can't. No.
We can't do that.
That's for you.
How hard do you have to hit your head where you say those words and you're like, that makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly. That was like, do you hear yourself?
Like,
They live up north.
Oh, they live up north,
Fuck,
and like
man.
she hasn't had a job in years. He works here, by the way. He commutes in, and they've lived there forever. And so, I mean, I had to call the police a bunch of times on them, and she went to jail for a couple for a couple days. And like it wasn't getting like these people are really messed up, and then it
No biggie.
culminated like it culminated in September. They were having a drinking party one night, and it was outside, and they're blasting music like teenagers. So I went by, and I just wanted to be nice. I didn't want to be like cut it out or anything. So I tried to be tactful. And I said, do you know when you're going to be finished? Because
The party.
Yeah, the party. So I'll just go for a ride and then, come back when you're done. And they're like, come sit down. We're almost done. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. I got to go. They're wasted, right? So like, come sit down, after all the so basically like the other part of the story is that I had to call the SPCA on the dog and they got ticketed because they had been warned like 3 or 4 times
By the SP.
by the SPCA. I had to install cameras. I actually installed Ring cameras throughout my house, which was a real pain in the butt because no pun because
I didn't even catch that.
because it was stressful to I would get like 65 notifications on my phone. Yeah,
people
and
walking
like
by
and
or
people
whatever.
walking by
Yeah.
or a car or whatever. Like, oh, there's the
literal-
dog.
or literally the dog shitting,
Or the
like,
dog shitting.
27 times
Yeah,
a day.
exactly. And then I'd have to send that to the SPCA, and then the SPCA would have to take like 2 or 3 weeks to process it. So it's like they don't even get. You know what I mean? It was such a backward system. It was so. Eventually I had worked things out with them to the point where they were going to keep the dog away from my house and not have it bark and not have it shit.
Okay.
Like I had originally asked in May. Now we're all the way in August.
Just make your dog stop shitting.
Yeah, well, it was shitting and barking. Like having
Right.
it sit outside my house and bark like at 6 a.m. is unacceptable. Also,
Wow.
Oh,
right?
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so they were like, okay. The husband was at least being reasonable, and he's like, okay, well, I'll walk the dog the other way in the morning. I'm like, perfect, fine. And the wife's like, you're really intolerant.
Wow.
I'm like, I can't even justify that psycho. I'm like, yes, I'm intolerant of disgusting behavior.
But that's also fucked up that like he was like, fine, I'll go the other way when I take him for a walk.
yeah,
gee.
exactly. Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry
God
to
forbid.
impose. Yeah.
Fucking thank you, sir.
Yeah. He's like, well, first you don't like our garbage.
So this only ended like last September.
So then-
how many years? Like,
So no, it was a 4-month ordeal.
Oh,
4-month
4
ordeal.
months, okay.
And so
It's a lot of shit.
It's a lot. And so I had tried a bunch of things. I'd also bought them a remote control for the barking because you can actually send like a high pitch frequency.
Oh, okay.
I'd done that. I had done a lot of things, trying to be, I tried reasoning with them. I tried yelling at them. The husband, basically, there was one argument. There's 2 major events. The first event was in May when we were trying to sort this out in the beginning where she had said she wouldn't do anything. The husband and I are having an argument on my property. I'm telling him to get off my property. And he tells this neighbor, he yells over to the neighbor's house, this guy's a pedophile. Like,
Oh,
literally.
Wow.
And I was filming it on my iPhone.
This guy thinking
Yeah.
he's in Petawawa.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
So there was that one, and so I had to send them like a legal letter, like you can't say that. Go apologize to the other people and stay away. And so it was a summer like that, and then so finally it culminated with that large party where things had been quiet for 6 weeks, and I didn't want to bother their party. I just wanted to know when they were going to stop screaming and drinking. So I went to them. I said, "When do you think you're going to be?"
So you left your house
yeah.
and you were like, hey,
It's very
Yeah.
understandable.
Now here's the other backstory is I had returned the cameras because they were good for like 6 weeks. The dog wasn't coming around anymore, and I was like, I kind of want my money back because I don't want. And I found out that the
ring lights, they like,
the ring it surveys you also
Yes.
inside. It records everything in the house. And like, I don't want that.
you don't want China looking into
Yeah, I don't
or
exactly.
Russia.
I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I barely wear clothes inside. So I
They know.
I returned it to Canadian Tire. They gave me a full credit, which was
Oh, nice.
amazing. So with some of that credit, I got an outdoor fireplace. So that's why I was sitting outside trying to enjoy a quiet fire at midnight when they're blasting Lionel Richie. I'm easy like a Sunday morning.
Oh my.
At
Bitch, it's still Saturday
midnight
night.
on a Saturday, and it's like, first of all, you got your day wrong, and secondly, turn it down. So I was polite about it. I was like, listen, just let me know when you're going to be done, and I'm going to drive to Saint Sever, and I'm going to come back. They're like, no, we're going to be done in 5 minutes, and they're wasted. So they invite me to sit down after all what I just said. They invite me to sit down. We're all sitting together, and then they realize their mistake of inviting me. And the wife is all drunk, and she's like, "I'm getting really uncomfortable." I'm like, well, you probably shouldn't have invited me. Should you have? And I was like, that's why you don't drink
Because they
beyond
thought it
me.
was gonna make it okay. Because like now you're part of the noise.
Well, yeah,
You
and
know?
also it's like it wasn't them that invited me. It was like a third neighbor who was like, "Why don't you come and sit down?" She wasn't aware of
shit.
everything.
She must
So-
have gotten the
and
eyes.
yeah,
afterwards.
she did. Well, she got a lot worse than that because she's important to this part. So what happens is that after 10 minutes, I politely excuse myself. I said bye to everybody. I go home. I start, going back to my fireplace outside.
Yeah.
And so some 10 minutes later, like I see them all going back to their house and separating for the night and whatever. But then I start hearing like this slap and then another bang. And I don't know. I'm like, oh, they're probably putting their wine bottles into the recycling bin, which is too close to my house. I'm like, well, and then I hear the husband yell, "Hey!" And I was like, oh, wait a minute. If he's yelling, "Hey," then he's not doing it. Then somebody's doing something that he objects to. And if someone's doing something that he objects to, it must be really bad because he has no standards. So I go around the front of my house to see what's going on. And the wife is on my front steps with my light lantern ripped out of the wall in her hands with wires coming all the way down. Plaster is all over the steps. And a mural that was on the front of the house that the owner and I had tried to take off a year before with tools and couldn't, she had ripped out.
Oh my god! What a psycho!
What the fuck?
What?
Yeah, and then she challenges me to a fight.
Oh,
She challenges me to a fight. And
bad idea.
yeah, and so then I'm like, "Jim, your wife," and she's like, "I want to fight." And so,
Oh, sure. Heavy smoker.
and then the oh yeah, and then the husband comes. Now this was like divine. I don't know what, because I didn't have the cameras anymore. Remember that?
Yeah,
There were no more cameras.
it's
They
true.
don't know this though.
Mm-hmm.
So the husband comes and he grabs her. He charges up my stairs, grabs her at the top of the stairs. She goes stiff like a board, like a doll, and he carries her sideways down my stairs. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this has obviously happened before. This is
Everybody's assumed the position.
exactly.
She's just
She knows what to do.
At this very second, the neighbor who had invited me into the party hears all the screaming and comes down and stands at the driveway just in time to see him carrying his wife down the stairs.
Oh my god!
He trips down my stairs. He goes face forward into my driveway. He dislocates his shoulder.
Oh my god.
He lets go of her, obviously. She goes flying forward, bounces her head off of my asphalt on the pavement, and bounces down onto the driveway.
On her back.
Yeah. Gets up. The neighbor, takes her back to her house. She turns on her own friend and claws the crap out of her own friend.
What?
Yeah, and while the husband is screaming on my driveway, and I'm like, well, I guess I got to call an ambulance now. And I call the ambulance, the police come, they arrest him, and the police, they knew what was going on all summer, so they're like, you have everything on camera, right? And I'm like, no, I don't. I just took it down. I'm such an idiot. He goes, don't worry. The neighbor who she attacked testified that everything you're saying is true. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Whoa.
So then, okay, so finally,
Thank God she got attacked.
that's why. Yeah, exactly. And then so then I get a notification in the mail a couple months later, like, okay, a court is going forward. We're pressing charges against them, and if you would like to make a witness statement, not come in, but just make a witness statement.
Sorry about
write
that.
this down, and I can't make this part up. It's all all the logos of the town are on it and everything like that. And it's like part one. Write down the financial impacts. This is not, and it's like they make it super clear, like in bold. This is not a declaration for recompensation. This is just for factual evidence. Number two, list the emotional impacts that this has had on you. Did you have to go to therapy, or were you scared? Do not write as if the person is guilty. This is not about that. Number three, draw a picture or write a poem that best reflects your feelings. I couldn't make that up.
You wrote a poem.
But I said to a friend of mine, he was laughing. He went right away. He's like, "You should have written it like Dr. Seuss. Like, my neighbor's a cunt. You see, she's a cunt on the ground. She's a cunt in the tree." Like, So that was
That's
it.
fucking.
And you also moved away from there.
So I moved away from there, not
Okay.
because I had to buy I needed to get
Right.
away into I wanted privacy, full
Mhm.
privacy, because it was bad enough in Montreal. So now I live in the woods.
How many? Just a question about that story. How many times you were saying that you would call the SPCA every time the dog came and take a dump?
Yeah.
Was he getting tickets every time?
First they got a warning, a verbal warning. The second one they were supposed to get a ticket, but they messed up, and so they gave them a second warning. And then so it took 3 times to get a ticket for $150.
Wow. And
Yeah.
then imagine you keep getting tickets every time after that.
Well,
your dog
eventually it
takes
would have escalated to where they would have repossessed the dog.
a dump.
Yeah.
You can't handle this dog. It's
Well,
going-
basically, because they would let it sit in the street too. So if a car went,
Oh
by,
my
the
God.
car was the dog was already run over by a car the year before.
That's why it's shitting everywhere.
Oh,
It's just
yes.
shitting everywhere because of their entitlement. No, because I called the people who lived there before me, and they were like, "Yeah, they would just come and we'd throw the poop back on their lawn." I'm like, I'm not getting involved in that. That's not why I moved
No.
up here.
You're not a monkey.
No, it really felt like that. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Oh man, I would have thrown it back at the windows.
See, because you want to do that, but then you don't know what their retaliation is going to be.
Yeah.
I would think of all sorts of stuff to do,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, I live next to them and I sleep, well, like into like to noon. They could drive me nuts more than I could
For
drive
sure.
them nuts because I work at night.
Right.
Yeah, they're psycho drunk. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the thing that I had
Yeah.
learned is like you really have to class it up with them
Mm.
because the one thing that he had said in the beginning was, "Oh, don't call government institutions on me." So that's
Oh,
when I was like,
wow.
"Okay, well, that's the one thing that's going to work."
Warning
Wow.
number 1.
Yeah, but he gave away
Checkmate.
what was going to work because I didn't want to do that because I just wanted to be like, "Yo, fuck off," and then they fuck
Right.
off. But I figured out, when you call attention to how uncivil they're being, but the police have to come multiple times and they would be like acting like children, like giving me the middle finger and then throwing the ball onto my lawn on purpose so the dog would come. They were really crazy people.
Well,
Yeah.
You can't choose your neighbors.
No,
No,
well,
no.
unless they're trees.
Yeah. That's fucking neighbors, man.
Yeah.
And now you said you moved away and you you built like a green screen room in your
Yeah.
in your new home.
Yeah.
That looks
Really?
almost like it looks more like a murder room.
That was the best message that you sent because I posted it.
murder
I
room.
posted it when it was halfway done, so
it was like half painted.
half painted green, like it was one coat. It was only so it looked really bad. You could see right through it, and then like the other half was still
Ha ha ha! The crime
peach.
scene's almost
Yeah.
gone.
And then like you had like a crumpled tarp all over the ground. And then Johnny like sends me a message like, "This looks more like a murder room. Are you sure you are who you say you are?"
It's a real Dexter moment.
It really was. Yeah.
Is that-
Jeffrey? Question mark.
Yeah, it's also the fact that I live in the woods,
right?
Yeah,
Just more
yeah,
suspicious than anything.
yeah, exactly.
Is that room finished now?
It's now finished. Yeah,
And what are you gonna do with that? You gonna make like videos and
yeah. I'm
things?
gonna go back to making some stuff because like I have a lot of ideas for these characters
Cool.
that I want to put out content like regularly,
Yeah.
like semi-regularly.
Yeah.
So at least these characters could comment on everyday occurrences,
Mm.
and so that way I'll always have like a flow of like whatever. Yeah, I now just got to buy the costume.
Let's
Going-
see.
Going with the characters, I was curious to know. So you do voices.
Yeah.
When did you first discover that you could?
That I could do them.
Yeah.
I guess it was like ever since I was a kid, like
Okay.
when I was like 8 or something. I'd be doing that, and like people would be, and my friends would be like, "Oh, can you do that again?" You know, and then I'd be kicked out of class a lot. Exactly. I was always doing like the fastest fast can be. You'll never catch me. I was doing always that, and people were like, "That's amazing." And then like the teacher's like, "Sit down, everybody." I'm like, "Shut up!" And like I get thrown out.
You know what you remind me of? You remind me of like. So you look like a guy that doesn't do voices, but
Right.
but Howie Mandel also does voices.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and like you look at him and you're like,
I didn't know that.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Bobby's
does, he
World.
does voices.
Oh,
He
like
did.
that.
He
True
did.
Bobby's
He
World.
did Fozzie. Did
Gremlin.
Gremlins. Yeah, I didn't.
That's him.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's
yeah,
him.
that's him.
And then you look at Jeff too, and you're like, you don't do voices.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
And so you were so you were a kid just trying to you were
Just
trying
doing
to
my
be a
thing. I was
class
just
clown.
yeah,
more or less.
yeah, pretty much. And I think when my brother was born, he would talk like a baby, as babies do.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, and then I talked back, yeah, hello, baby, like that, and it was like cute, and like but I kept talking to him like until he was like 12, and he hated that at that point. But
It really depends how you film that, because if you give it a low angle and you put some really weird music, it doesn't look like it's cute no more when you sing "Hello, Baby."
scaring the crap out of me right now.
The green room's ready.
Yeah, the green room is ready.
And do you do impressions as well, or more just voices?
It's more just original voices. I
Okay.
do impressions, but they're usually of people that I know and not
Okay.
famous people.
Oh yeah, we had gone through this already.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
a couple of local people that
Right.
we all know.
Right.
Yeah, but they're more like yeah.
We're like, I don't know if we should go into
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if we should, but yeah, no, and I actually end up entertaining the boys and girls, comedians backstage
That's fine.
because they asked me to do a whole list of things. Yeah,
That's amazing. You
Yeah.
could just voices. I find is like a hard thing to do to
Yeah.
get like like,
I'm just born with it. I was just
Yeah.
born, yeah. It really like I was just some guys are born with looks,
yeah.
and I was born
Just
with
with a voice.
This, yeah,
But like no, but if
Not
you
a
take
singing
like
voice.
like look at Mel Blanc.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
how crazy is it that he does every character?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's talent.
yeah.
wow.
And Geoffrey Appelbaum is talent.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's like you wouldn't be allowed to do a rabbit unless you were a rabbit.
Yeah,
It's like-
or a CGI rabbit.
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
say.
Yeah, but, okay, so you see, like, how about because this is another, like something that I think of every time I see Jeff Dunham.
yeah.
I can't watch it anymore.
No, I don't personally. I don't like him.
He did-
first Ahmed, like the Ahmed the dead terrorist, whatever. That one, like the I kill you. That
Yeah.
one was like funny,
Yeah,
and I mean, out of if you had to give him like a top 10,
Oh, yeah,
everything's
yeah.
number 2, and that's number 1.
who's
Yeah.
the guy that did the one? See, here's the thing that I like about impressions and don't like about them. If you do something really general like that, like the Ahmed one, it can die really hard, and it kind of did. It was great for a bit, but then you get the ones. Who's the one? The Italian comic. He did a John Madden impersonation.
Italian comic.
Yeah, he was on a Letterman like all the time.
John Madden.
Yeah,
Is it,
I mean, you remember John Madden, right, from
Yeah.
NFL football?
Yeah.
It was so specific. That's what I loved. It was kind
Was
of
he,
rare.
was he from Jersey?
Yeah.
Is it Rob Magnotti or something?
No. Oh man, it's gonna kill me.
Oh my god.
And he would mix in a George Bush impersonation, which was
Frank Caliendo.
that's it.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
that the John Madden one.
Oh yeah.
What
Okay,
I-
he wasn't he on like
He had
Saturday
his-
Night Live? Or
No,
something?
he had his own show at one point.
Yeah, see, because that's the kind of impersonation. Like if I were to do an impersonation, I would do something along those lines because
Yeah.
it's rare enough, yet everyone knew him.
yeah.
When he did that, I was dying
Yeah.
because that's exactly
Yeah, he's great.
He would flip out over Brett Favre and Brett Favre and like it was so good but it was so specific that it wasn't like here's Arnold Schwarzenegger or
Right.
Robert
Not-
De Niro
not
or
basic, yeah.
nothing but
Yeah.
it was so specific and if you knew it you got it.
Yeah.
So that's what. But also, it's like you never know who's going to be a celebrity today because tomorrow they'll be outed for some sort of horrible behavior or dead. You know, you don't know.
It also makes me think of when Dave Chappelle did Rick James. Like how incredible was the Rick James thing?
Yeah. Yes.
Not because he's
Well, no,
exactly
well,
like it,
no,
but it's
here's the
because it's
thing.
so memorable.
Well, memorable, but Dave Chappelle can't do impressions.
No.
Oh, yeah.
The voice that he's doing for Rick James is Dave Chappelle's voice.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Rick James.
Yeah.
He looks like Rick James,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm Rick James. That's just
Charlie
that's
Murphy.
just fucking Dave
That
Chappelle's
just,
voice.
but I know, but like that's what I'm saying. Like that impression was memorable, even though it wasn't close
Right.
to what the guy
Yeah,
actually
it's
sounded
it's
like.
excessive.
Yeah,
is what it
but
was.
it was so over the top, and
Yeah.
like it was funny.
Yeah. It was like a non-impression.
I watched that
impression.
today and I still
Yeah.
piss my pants. I
Yeah.
think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
It's like when Jim Carrey does Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh yeah, or Clint Eastwood.
Or-
He does a great.
or is it
There's
Sammy
one
Davis
that's
Jr.?
circulating Facebook now that he's
Yeah.
Jim Carrey that did like a Clint Eastwood, like he moves his face
Yeah.
into like.
And he
Oh,
even-
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Like,
he even
it's
does
nuts.
that. he does like the Clint Eastwood like
Yeah.
exhale. Yeah. But he did it in Bruce Almighty in the mirror.
Oh right, yeah.
You know, and he was
Yeah.
like, "What are you looking at, punk?" or whatever.
Is there someone you look up to that's an impressionist that you're like, holy shit?
No, because I
No.
don't really watch comedy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Why?
Because I find that if I really like somebody, because I can really take on a lot of stuff. I can automatically impersonate them by accident.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you mean comedy films or stand up?
Stand up.
Oh really?
So if I watch like a Norm Macdonald
okay,
for a couple days, I might have a little bit of his rhythm in my set.
can you
and I
can you
don't-
do a Norman Macdonald impression?
No, I can't because
I was gonna maybe like pee myself a little bit.
yeah, no, it's just because his content is horrific for this podcast. But no, but he Tom almost spelled
All
it.
right.
The one of the gay pride parade joke was the one that killed me. It was just like we are so proud of our gay son. oh yeah, it takes it up the ass in the mouth. He doesn't care. You remember that one? Like,
I've never heard
yeah,
that.
no, because it was the concept of like, oh, well, we're so proud of our kid. Like, it's not like a lawyer or a doctor. He's just sucking and fucking.
Oh,
He's just sucking and fucking. The next day, just showing the pictures, like, oh, this is my son. Yeah, he's a quarterback, and 3.9 GPA, and he loves cock.
You know what's funny about that?
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, exactly.
Norm. It's because I'm also thinking about like Mike Tyson Murder Mysteries.
Pigeon.
The fact that he's Pigeon in Mike Tyson Murder Mysteries.
There's an animated show on Netflix called Mike Tyson Mysteries, and Mike Tyson voices himself that he like runs a mystery team.
Oh,
yeah.
and Norm Macdonald plays a pigeon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard of that.
Like an alcoholic drug addicted, like
okay.
sex addicted pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also loved Norm Macdonald's joke about AA, because it's like
The bit about it.
the bit about AA, yeah, where it's like they don't give their last names and stuff.
Yeah.
So because actually,
I am Norm.
yeah, it's just like, hey, I used to suck dick for crack, and then when I was done with that, I went down the street and I sucked some more dick for crack, and well, my name is Adam R. That's all you're getting. Don't want to get too personal here.
Oh my god!
Holy shit.
Imagine if you could get Norm Macdonald to be on stage for a CLDV.
Actually, a couple of
You probably do it.
A couple of friends of mine met him at Just for Laughs a couple of years ago, and they ended up hanging out with him. And then
Because he's super like chill.
Super chill.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
from
they-
Quebec also.
and he's from Quebec City.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
he
Really?
yeah. And then
Shit.
they actually went up to his hotel room at the Hyatt, and they were rolling a joint,
Oh.
and they're just standing over, like there's like this quiet moment, and then Norm breaks the silence. He's like, "We're not all gonna like fuck each other, are we?"
I would have loved to have been in that room.
Yeah.
Do it again. No one heard it.
This one. Before we were actually talking,
Well, we were actually talking for once.
oh no, yeah,
No.
but we were talking about like if ever we had to go to like on this podcast commercial break.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like the only thing I have on this soundboard that can take us to commercial break would literally have to be this.
All right, so we'll be right back with Snobcast.
Fat
we're
Joe,
back.
thank
So
you so
that was
much.
a great break. That's a great break. A lot of sponsors there.
But that's a little bathroom break. The little.
Steve is very quiet today. It's giving me a bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
And so
He's,
I think you need the spotlight right now.
Yeah, you
Okay.
be Stevie like Sunday morning.
That could also be an episode name.
I was dying.
Stevie like Sunday morning.
I was dying to say that.
All right, well, you know what? Let's jump into the nitty fucking gritty here.
Mm.
I could go for some
Yeah,
grits.
yep.
Oh, I would have some grits.
Grits.
Yeah.
Grits.
Grits.
Okay.
Anyone with
Yeah.
grits?
Grits. Oh my god.
So, Jeff,
Yes.
you are where you are. You know,
Yes.
you're doing voices. You're killing the stage all over the country. What's the next step? What's your next? Where do you want to be next?
CLDV.
Yes, CLDV. Yeah. Man, Johnny is good, man. Yeah.
Hey, read your
Where
mind.
do I want to be next? Like, within what kind of time frame are we talking?
Let's say 2 years.
2 years? I guess sort of headlining my own little tour. That would be kind of cool.
Across Canada?
Yeah, across Canada, maybe in the States. I am half American, so
True.
yeah, maybe get a little, cultivate. Like, okay, here we go. 2 years from now, cultivated my own little audience that I can go and tour and bring my show to. How's that?
That'd be
We
incredible.
would
That'd be
come
great.
see you.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, we would like
Yes.
to be supporting acts, but
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
or just record a podcast before every show. Just hello, everyone.
Don't mind us.
Norm Macdonald, everyone.
But here's the thing, like the thing that it's an interesting question because like my set I feel has taken a long time to craft because I want people when they're done with the show, especially the next one at the Leonardo da Vinci Center.
Yeah.
It's like I want people always left with, whoa, that was really like blown away.
and that's how they left the last time you played, which you were featured. You didn't
Oh, right.
you did a 15, and people were like, "Fuck, that was."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
came
yeah.
up to me. Even like Emil had come up to me and was like, "When is he gonna headline? Like he should."
That's
He should
amazing.
just
Yeah.
headline.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
You,
Oh,
you
thank
killed
you.
it.
So
Yeah.
So I've sort of been honing and crafting that set like over a long time, so that when people are done, they're like, "Wow!" Like there's no like little dips or what valleys.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, that's what I want. So that's why like I take time building this thing so that it's like chiseled out. And,
Yeah, so that Okay, so then at that point, when you're like, okay, I'm on tour, everyone's like, oh, Jeff's on tour. Everyone's already on board.
Yeah, they're on board,
Yeah.
and then like the show runs itself. It's like a chiseled show, and that they're like, wow, this guy, whatever they say after they love it,
And you can do French as well, so you can even tour Quebec. Let's say.
Yeah, and exactly, and I'll be doing both English and French for you.
Awesome!
Yeah, for your show.
yes.
Yeah, I'll be
That's
mixing
great.
it up. Yeah.
You kill it in French too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
And some
yeah.
comics that are bilingual have issues with transitioning. They're either like, no, I'm doing English or French.
Yeah.
Oh, do they? Oh, really?
I've had that. I've encountered that. They're like, well, do you want me to do English? Or do you want me to do French? I'm like,
Oh.
well, I don't care. Well, what do you want me to do?
Okay.
Okay, do English, because the crowd would be okay for like 45 minutes in French, but it's risky. You know what I mean? Like, because they're more anglophone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like for 15 minutes, for 10 minutes, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
if they
who-
could have their whole attention span for a 45-minute French set in Saint Leonard. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
But
Yeah.
like if you mix it up and you do a bilingual,
Yeah, well,
it works well.
Eddie King.
Well, Eddie King did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's-
He
he
did
did
like
exactly
he
that.
literally split down the middle.
Yeah,
Like
you
a
bounce
20
in and
minute-
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some jokes I have in French that I can't do in English, but that's very little. So it's like most of my jokes are crafted so that, well, if it's English or French, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They
yeah.
work in both.
Yeah.
Do you do a thing where like I think it's genius. David Pride. Have you seen David Pride?
He's
French?
incredible. Yeah, I haven't seen him in French, but I heard what
I-
he.
yeah.
He
man.
literally just translates his English material to French,
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah,
like-
he's a
Yeah.
genius. That guy's a genius. He's an artist. That guy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and he's headlined the CLDV. He did an English set, but I've seen him do open mics where he does the French, and it's just like
It's
Wow.
it's a,
Wow.
yeah, it's amazing.
I love him. Yeah.
He would probably also kill if the crowd was all francophone.
oh no, but
Yeah.
because this is
Yeah.
the way he.
We
Bonjour,
saw him.
je m'appelle David.
we saw him.
And you did the mouth thing. That yeah.
Well, when we saw him perform in French, it was in a francophone crowd, and he
Yeah,
killed.
it was when Emil and I used to do.
Yeah.
the
So what?
weekly show.
What?
yeah.
It was the one in Huntsic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Emil and I had invited him to do the Sacré
Yeah.
Jersey.
So
and-
what made him want to do French that night?
No, I think he was literally going to open mics and like practicing his
Oh.
French stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because I had only known that he'd done English. So,
Okay.
Because he had headlined CLDV in March, and I had seen him a few times before that at the Nest and at other places.
Yeah.
And then Emil was like, "Oh, we booked David Pride. He's gonna do French." I'm like, "What?
It's
like
that-
what? What do you mean?"
But it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
Who was the last guy that you had that did French? The guy with the beard and the tattoos.
Oh, Alex Duval.
Oh, Alex
Ah,
Deville.
he
Do you know Alex Deville?
He's so funny.
he
Yeah.
killed the room.
We
Yeah.
he had him. We had him last month with
Yeah.
Mike Patterson,
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
and
I couldn't breathe. That
Yeah,
night.
he blew
Yeah.
blew everyone away.
Did he
Yeah.
do the one where he's sitting in the park looking at the kids?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Alex Deville.
Uh,
And he's going on tour actually now. Like,
Oh, he is, eh?
Yeah, he's launching his one-man show.
That's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
saw his promo. Very.
Very, very Jesus-y.
You know what though? French comedy. Like, do you ever watch like on Netflix?
Oh
like-
yeah, 100%.
Like I watched the new Martin Matt.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah?
He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Wow.
no,
He's funny.
He's
Sounds like Harrison
I don't-
Weinreb.
You know
Wow.
what it is? I don't normally watch like, Quebecois comedy, French
Right.
comedy in general.
But you should. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I know, but
No,
it's because
no,
I'm
just
so
saying.
I'm so used to watching English
Yeah.
stand-ups, but when you transition to French, it's like a whole other. It's like on a whole. It's the ring. It saw that it was.
It was-
just turned
I
on.
just
The
saw
lights just
Johnny
turned-
on his phone, and then the lights turn on. I'm like, how did that?
You thought you got rid of your doorbell,
Yeah.
but like I find that when you transition to the French side of stuff, especially if it's not like the French from France side,
Right.
like the Quebecois side, is so funny.
Yeah.
Because
you
you never
understand
think
it,
of
but you
it,
also
yeah.
understand it. You
Yeah, but
understand
you-
the language.
You never think of it. Do you ever during the day? Do you ever like stop to think about like a French culture thing that you're like, oh, ha ha ha, like
Probably Steve. Because Steve's, cultured.
But it's cool you bring that up. I when I was younger on Music Plus, they used to do
Was
a lot
that
of.
you?
No, that was Gargoyle. So sorry about that. So sorry. That was.
Candid moments here on Snobs.
Yeah.
you were saying, Steve.
I used to watch a lot of French comedy skits. So on Music Plus, they used to have like the Gros Lux with Patrick Gros. I used to love that shit. It used to make me fucking piss myself.
I never even knew what that was. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well,
yeah,
music
it was-
music
the-
plus
no,
is a
Music
channel.
Plus, yeah.
Fucking idiot.
I meant this thing. This.
Yeah, it
skits.
was a picture of I mean, I don't want to use the Chappelle Show to compare something, but it was
a sketch comedy
sketch
show.
comedy. Yeah,
It was Chappelle Show-esque.
yeah.
French.
Well,
It was
like it was
sketch
like
comedy.
Québécois.
Right.
Chappelle Show, but it was pronounced Chappelle.
But even for you, like I've taken you around now to see just French comedy.
Yeah,
and it's
this
just,
is great.
because we
yeah.
just have to evolve. Like
Yeah,
there's,
well, even case in point, Alex Duvel.
yeah,
David Pride.
like
doing
so
his
I love
French set.
having the CLDV to have a bilingual show because there's brilliant Québécois comedians out there that
Right.
are like
Absolutely.
they're really strong.
Yeah.
Right. My favorite guy that I've seen so far is Charles Brunet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
he,
yeah.
like
Oh,
super
man.
awkward and
Yes.
like you know.
He's so good, man. He's so good.
Did
Like,
he do your room?
No, not yet.
Okay. Where'd you
No.
see him?
so at the Sacré Jeudi.
Actually, we used to be,
Oh,
him
right.
and Emil are good friends, I
Yeah.
think. And
I saw him twice. or
and I saw him
something
somewhere else too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
He was somewhere
But-
else.
Yeah,
he goes places.
He goes places. He doesn't just not everybody just does Sacré Jeudi.
Charles very good. Even Alex Bisaillon that we've.
Alex
we
Bizayo.
saw
He's
him-
moving up, that guy.
Yo,
he's-
really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's been around for like 10 years. I didn't know that.
oh, that I didn't know either.
Yeah, he's been like working hard for a
He's
long time. Yeah.
he murdered when
Wow.
he played
Yeah.
the CLDV.
Yeah.
Oh, he did the CLDV.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
cool.
We had seen
back
him
in
originally. Well, at least
At
me.
Sacré Jeudi.
At Sacré Jeudi, yeah. Well,
If only it still existed.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I wish.
Burned right to the ground.
I used to like going there.
That was
I
a
know.
fun room. It's just hard to. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a fun room though. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But I mean, like rooms in the city. It's
Yeah.
man. I don't run anything, so for a
Yeah.
reason, because it's.
Yeah.
Is that why you wouldn't produce?
I tried a couple times
Okay.
years ago,
Okay.
and I just wasn't able to.
How long have you been doing comedy?
8 years,
Nice.
8.5 years, something like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's not easy to produce. I mean, what
No.
you do is fantastic because you're always filling that room up, and it's.
Thank you. It's also because there's not much like it in the area.
That's who I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if I can say it on the air because.
you,
All right. Well. Okay.
you can say whatever you want.
Okay, you're gonna have to cut this though, because I have to. Okay, so I did a show. Anyway, it was a show somewhere in the west. Okay,
okay.
and it was a show against. It was like a fundraiser, and it was like don't be mean kind of thing. It was like one of those things. Don't be mean. Oh, it was like don't fight. It was like one of those for an organization that was about problem solving for
Okay.
conflict dispute. And
Oh.
basically during the show there was a lot of technical difficulties.
Okay.
And then after the show, the producer wanted to know why there were technical difficulties with the technician. Basically, certain videos didn't play that were supposed to play, and it ended up with this technician. Obviously, there was something weird about him. He ends up like screaming at the producer in the lobby, in front of like everybody involved in the organizing of it, and just throwing his middle fingers like at the producer, like I'm never working for you again. And like behind the fight is still the poster. It's a like conflict resolution. And then he he storms out the door and like he takes the long door out and like and then gets to the door and the janitor's like, door's locked, bro. And he had to like turn back and come back towards us
Oh my god!
and leave out the other one. It was yeah.
Oh my god.
It sounds like there should have been some
problems?
conflict.
Oh.
Yeah, there
problems.
was conflict. It was this poster was not taken down as he's waving, and I never got it was like a waving of the middle finger, as if like I don't know, like the prime minister was on a float in a parade, and he's like just waving it, like yeah, you can take these. Like it was like
You can take these
it was weird. It was,
raining birds.
and then like he's walking away and waving too, which was a whole other thing. I was like, it doesn't look very cool. You don't look, and then and his hair was like disheveled. So he's like a guy in his early 30s, so it's just starting to thin, but he's keeping it long. So as he's doing it, his hair is waving around and stuff, and he had a long coat. It really looked like oh ouais, la anarchie. Remember that? Like oh ouais, Metallica, yes sir. Like it really.
Oh no, guys!
It was just
Wow.
a ugly
What if he
way.
was just doing it to try and get on World Star or something?
World star.
You know, like he was trying to become like a meme. Like
Yeah, it should be
With
a
the
meme.
wave.
Yeah, because me and another comic who we both love were watching this, and we were just cracking up. We were half afraid because we thought he could easily just snap and kill everybody, and then He's one of those that was probably he himself was probably bullied in high school or something, and would has like a list of people, and we were cracking jokes and waiting uncomfortably. And,
God,
yeah,
That's amazing. I guess you shouldn't produce your own shows.
The moral of the story is shouldn't produce.
I don't know how I would react if I would see that happening. It's like a real like daddy just like got up and slapped mommy from across the dinner table.
Oh yeah.
I'm done with the asparagus.
Yeah.
It's like you can't look away.
Yeah, like there's too much salt on this chicken.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
How did you do that sound?
What that?
Yeah. What?
You're like awing Jeff today.
We're
He's
gonna-
like,
we're
Why are you
gonna-
doing these things.
How did you
The
do that?
Dyson and
Oh, that?
Yeah. I do a lot of imaginary ping pong.
Yeah.
Steve. Do you want to say something?
I
Sorry,
do,
I'm
actually.
so sorry to interrupt you.
Well,
please go ahead. Go
Uh,
ahead, Stephen.
Can I?
Yeah, you may.
All right.
Also,
You can go ahead.
Jeff, you mentioned 8 years in comedy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how it all started?
And how
there's
shitty
it's
is.
an interesting story. It's not your run of the mill. Oh, I saw Raw.
Oh,
Tell us,
okay,
please.
okay. So I was doing this seminar, and the seminar went to New York, and basically there was a present. They wanted us to do a sketch on what we had learned, and there was like 400 of us doing this, and basically the leader of the seminar was essentially he looked like Barack Obama. He sounded like Cleveland from Family Guy.
Oh, Loretta.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Oh, Loretta. And so basically they wanted us to do like a sketch of like what we had learned over the weekend. And so instead of like just doing like people would be like, "Oh, this is what I learned," and that they would act out certain scenes like, "Oh, have a nice day. Boy, I'm really in power." Like something cheesy like that. I decided I would do an impersonation of the leader, and then everybody else in my group would be like fake seminar attendees,
Yeah.
and I would be like coaching them throughout and you just gotta learn what performance and so anyway, I had 400 people like dying of laughter, and I'm sitting there like trying not to laugh while doing it. And so I was like, wow, that was really addictive, that feeling, And so
You caught the bug.
I got the bug, and then I basically I had been acting for like 10 or 15 years before that, but I'd never found the thing that I was like, yes, this is me. Because there'd always be like, like Shakespeare in the Park or whatever, and I'd be speaking some British thing that was just not me, and oh, we're gonna act like you're a horse, and that's gonna be funny. Like that's it's not funny. It's pretty much. It was just not fun. It was just like, oh, this is funny for like families in a park one day. It's not me. And so anyway, so when I got that kind of laughter, I was like, wow. So a year later, I sort of worked up my courage up over the next year. And then got on stage about a year after that in 2011, and then I've been doing it since then.
Do you remember how that first show went?
Yeah, really well.
Oh,
Yeah, it
rare.
went really well.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess it is.
Well,
yeah.
That's pretty good because I guess you said how many years? 8 years doing comedy?
Yeah.
You got 4 more before you get your own Netflix special.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
yeah. Well, if that ever happens, but yes.
Maybe Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Hey, there's a lot of outlets. Yeah, but I'd like that. Actually, in 2 years, another thing for your goal. Where I need to get at least 1 or 2. I would like 2 TV credits by then.
Okay.
2 TV
Like
credits.
like a CBC or whatever.
No, like being on like doing a set on Fallon or Conan or Kimmel.
Oh,
or
yeah.
yeah.
In 2 years.
Yeah. In 2
Whoa.
years, one of America's Got Talent, something like that.
Well,
Yeah.
we support that shit.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
for
America's
sure.
Got Talent I could do the first out of all those.
Can you do those? That if you're Canadian?
Yeah. Well, I'm American, so
Oh, yes.
yeah, so I can do
Philadelphia,
them all.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So, well, I mean, I'm not from there. My parents
Yeah.
are, but I have dual citizenship. So,
Oh, amazing.
yeah.
But I see people from like Europe come to like America's Got Talent.
Right.
You
I guess
know,
they have
so
a-
I guess
I guess.
anybody
They can do it. No,
apply.
they can do it. It's
Yeah.
just easier, I
Yeah.
think, if you're.
I think
Because
it's-
you're not being paid, I don't think. You don't get paid if you win. I don't know
Yeah.
how it works, but
Well,
it's not like you're being gainfully employed and you're not a citizen of the country.
I guess maybe it's also a thing that like it guarantees that they're gonna get on TV. Like maybe if they're
Well, there's all that TV bullshit, right? That has to go through that whole
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like everything's televised and like, oh, you have to have a backstory and like, oh,
Right.
my kid's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
et
Well,
cetera.
well, nowadays they're going with that.
Yeah, which
So
is,
that's why I'm
which is why I
saying-
don't watch that.
Well, that's it, and that's why I don't see that like that kind of culture. I don't fit into because I don't have that kind of victim story. Although we all have victim stories, I just don't,
My
play it.
neighbor used
Yeah.
dogs to
So,
shit
yeah,
on my
yeah,
lawn.
called me a pedophile and shot on my lawn.
I really just want to see somebody be like, well, yeah, I was born into white privilege, so since my parents are both retired at the age of 47 because they're billionaires, I decided, why not stop, like smoking bong rips
You just
at
don't
home and
understand
just-
what it's like
yeah.
growing up in the first world.
Yeah, you guys don't know what it's like to have a pool the size of like a building. And,
You don't get Kurt Cobain. I do.
Yeah.
But so that's that. Yeah, we support you 100% for that.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
Awesome. And so before we move to our weekly segment,
Yeah.
my last question would be: so you don't watch comedy?
Try not to.
Try not to. But like, is there someone or like that you're like, you would like to watch or that?
You'll break your rule for them. You're like, oh,
Norm Macdonald, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
definitely.
shows.
Yeah.
Great choice.
I love that kind of stuff where
Yeah.
he walks that edge.
The deadpan type of.
It's so weird, and the ideas that he tackles about like just a lot of stuff around mortality.
Yeah.
There was that joke about Janice. It's called Janice, and it's about he takes us through like a series of reports where we realize this missing woman is now dead. And and like
God.
the way that the newscast is like being where it starts out like normal and then the cameras move to a forest and you're like, oh well, nothing good ever happens in a forest. It's not like she's just gonna pop out, And so just that where he's dealing with mortality.
And
where
Jeff is there in the forest.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's where I live. So
I wonder, like,
in the green.
because he goes through. He does like a joke like that, like somebody, it's like a missing persons thing, and she ends up being dead.
Mhm.
You, like it's a pretty heavy subject.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys like you, Jai? I mean, you're on stage now for the show once a month.
Yeah.
You're or also when you host other stuff.
Yeah.
What do you guys like? Where's your like your limit? Like you won't go past this subject because you're like,
you can go ahead. You want?
I don't for now, and I'm not saying that I won't. I'm just saying for now, and I probably will. But for now,
Because you have an edge to you.
do I have an edge?
You have an edge. You just don't. You don't cross that.
I don't
you
cross it on
cross
stage.
No.
No, because right now I'm kind of just trying to get the loudest reaction possible. So I'm just trying to make as many people. My philosophy now is like, okay, well, everybody's inundated with edgy topics all day long on
Right.
social media. When you come see my show, you don't have to think about any of that.
that's actually really good.
Yeah, to me, it's just you just get to release. You just get to laugh, release, and that's it. That's
Okay.
and it's funny for both of us. Like
That's-
yeah. But that's not to say that I won't go. I won't like in the future as I become a more skilled. Because here's the thing: is like to touch those touchy subjects. It's like you have to be a skilled writer
Yeah.
to pull it off, and
Yeah.
it still be like David Pride. He touches on transgendered stuff,
Yeah.
and he touches on Greta Thunberg. But he does it with the skill that he has, so
right.
you're still left laughing. He can come out and say, "I'm an unrepentant racist," and then people laugh because he set it up so perfectly
Yeah.
that. And then if you don't laugh, he's like, "Well, you just reacted like a group of Mexicans," like you know what I mean? It's like but he set it up where it's like he meta jokes it, where it's like, okay, well, obviously this is a comedy show, and I just make jokes, and any comments I say about myself obviously aren't true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should tell you I'm an unrepentant racist. You know what I mean? So, but like it's. So he knows how to touch on
to lead you to
yeah
that spot.
So where he can still touch on push the edge, but with that skill. So that takes more time. So that's why I'm saying I will, but it's gonna yeah. For now, it's more like it's a show. It's a funny show.
I don't know. I like dark subjects.
Yeah, you throw the mic dick around.
Well, it's not only that. I like dirty jokes.
Yeah.
I like. That's just who I am, though, because my
Yeah.
brain is twisted like that. And when we all have twisted brains, but
Yeah.
that's just the way I'm comfortable talking about morbid things on stage or whatever, or just crossing a fine line, slightly crossing that line just a little bit too much.
But it also depends on the room.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, like I'll do this stuff about my grandmother and stuff because I have a ton of material about my grandmother and stuff.
right.
But like I like throwing in there the occasional dirty joke or the making fun of myself or morbid. I love Anthony Jeselnik. Like for me,
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
watch him and like how are you coming up with all that dirty, like morbid shit? Like, what is your brain like?
Between the way he delivers it, and what he's talking about, it's
I'm here on my couch, like,
yeah.
Oh, this is funny. Like, I shouldn't be laughing, but fuck it. Like,
I don't know.
You know.
I feel like I wouldn't be able to make like a sex joke or something if like my parents are like.
You have to just cross it. I did it. The first joke I ever told was me getting high on a
watching Titanic.
Watching Titanic.
Oh,
so it's just like the development of how that night went. You know, and then it was like, my niece asked how babies were born, and she asked if she could drink the magic potion. You know, like
I'm just trying to picture what it would be like to be stoned and watching Titanic.
Well, you
and
should
when
try
he
it
said,
sometime.
I'm king of the world. You're just mouthing it like, I'm king.
No, what I did is I fast forwarded to it when everyone was dying. I thought it was hilarious. That's what I did.
So you're laughing on the couch in front of your niece when they're all dead?
No.
Okay, I thought.
Separate story.
Separate story.
And she's just like, where do babies come from?
Right. All at the same time. Like, what?
That seems like an Anthony.
Not from her.
That seems like an Anthony Jeselnik type of joke.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very dark person. I only rent movies to watch the death scenes. And you might say, Anthony, why would you do that?
Anthony.
I love the fact that he talks like that and he'll say shit like, it's because I like to murder pussy. Like, like he'll just say stupid shit like that.
But I feel like you have an edge that you haven't really discovered yet.
Yeah.
Not discovered, but that you haven't crossed it yet. You're just
I've definitely got a lot of stuff that I keep with friends and stuff. You know,
good.
that's
Well, like here, like you're talking,
exactly.
like
That's what I'm saying. Like
your act is pretty clean. Like
it's very it's a clean act. But I think that the ones where I'm more stating my view on things, that'll be for like when you were asking Steve about like where am I in 2 years. That will be for that audience. So when I've cultivated that audience, who's going to respond to that? Because like we are so divided up in terms of demographics now. I mean, we're just like little fragments everywhere, and it's like you pick your audience now, and you stay with that now. It kind of goes with that now. It's kind of more very niche.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, I want to have developed and cultivated my audience, and then because I have very edgy stuff, but again, certain people would hate it, and then other people would absolutely love it.
There's places to take it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But then you have where I have 30 minutes of stuff that everybody can relate to. You know what I mean? So because you can't just go right into it, kind of thing. No pun intended. You can't just you see what I'm saying?
What's going on?
We're on fire today.
Yeah, just picking up on the one that he laid out there. But
can't just take it out. Only in the woods.
all right.
That leads us to our weekly segment that you're all here to listen to, and that's well, Tom, you want to cue it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually cue it up right now. Here we are, everybody.
The Hype Man's Ethnic Song of the Week.
And this is it.
It's that time.
It's
people.
Tuesday.
So
I'm so happy, actually.
well, I'm glad you're happy, Tom. It makes me happy that you're happy,
You know what?
especially when it comes to the ethnic song of the week.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Um,
To
so
hear this, actually.
Yeah, you
Jeff-
can't see anything.
you know what? This is kind of
I'm stroking out.
I don't want to say special, but it's special for you. You know, you're
For me or Jeff?
for Jeff.
Oh,
Okay.
You're headlining the CLDV Comedy Lounge.
Very excited.
You know, in St. Leonard. So I think that merits a little taste of your audience.
And Italy.
That's right. We got an Italian song here for you, and it's from a very renowned, fantastic artist, Massimo Ranieri. Me and Jenny have duetted this song countless times.
During karaoke.
Yeah, and this is one of those ones. You know, it's like
It's very deep. It's very epic.
you have to use your soul to sing it. Otherwise, don't bother.
Right. Yeah.
If ever there was an Italian James Bond, this would have been the
Oh,
James
yeah.
Bond theme song.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's have a listen. Se bruciasse la città by Massimo Ranieri.
Se bruciasse la città, da te io correrei. Anche il fuoco vincerei per rivedere te. Se bruciasse la città, lo so, tu cercheresti me. Anche
Wow.
Oh my god, it gets me every time.
So do I have to sing that at the show? Is
Yes.
that-
Yeah.
That's gonna be your walking on
Okay,
song.
good.
You have to say that every time you meet somebody.
Wow. Okay.
That's why it takes us so long to say hi and bye.
Yeah. we got
You
here
can ask Steve what the song's about, but
What
I
is-
can.
what is the song about?
Okay, so this song is about.
Because I won't do it.
Okay.
So like, I feel like every song I choose for this segment, it's very tragic.
And so is this one.
So there's no exceptions here today. So I guess let's say it's Massimo. I'm going to put him into the story here. He's in his town, whatever's going on. There's a lady, okay, this woman. They're down for each other, but he's of a lower standing. So her mother arranged for her to marry someone else, and it's like breaking his heart. But they still meet in secret and shit, And he's saying, when he gets to the chorus, if the city was on fire, I'd run, I'd come find you, this and that. And he's like, I know you would be looking for me, and basically how life's shit, and like we're not meant for each other, but
It's how life's shit.
but like I'll love you forever, So it's very
Beautiful lyrics.
Yeah.
in very Italian fashion,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very profound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very.
if the city was burning,
Yeah,
I'd come find you.
Something has to be
Because
on fire
life
with
is
Italian
shit.
music. Yeah.
Because life is shit
Oh
in
my
Italy in the
God.
60s.
Yeah, like it's not fair, but he's always gonna like remember her,
Oh wow! Can we have the artist and the name of the song again?
It's Massimo Ranieri's "Se bruciasse la città."
Oh wow!
It even sounds sexy.
Yeah, it does actually.
Jazz.
Jazz.
Jazz
It's like
voice.
Italian big band.
Yeah, well, yes, actually,
That, I mean,
it is.
it feels like it's exactly that.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
yeah.
So, Jeff, I mean, time to close this
Sounds
thing
close. I could see that.
Time to close this thing up.
All right.
Because people are listening and they're like, is this thing going to end soon?
Okay.
Yeah.
Does
All right.
Jeff ever stop talking?
No,
No.
we don't want Jeff to stop
Yeah.
talking.
We don't.
If Jeff stops talking, it stops being funny.
Oh.
That's a good slogan.
Yeah.
Jeff
Should get that on a shirt.
Yeah.
If Jeff stops talking,
It stops
being
being
funny.
funny.
it stops being funny.
That's very
Well, anyway, this was a lot of fun, and
Hopefully it works.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of good content here.
yeah,
And Jeff, March 27th,
yeah,
CLDV Comedy Lounge, your first Montreal headlining show.
super excited.
You'll be joined on stage with, of course, Hype Man Steve, who really
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Who's also on the poster?
He's on
now.
the poster. I'll be hosting. You'll be with Emile Coury, Reginald Saint-Éloi, and Jacob Ospian Echeverria.
Oh my God!
All
I can't-
right.
It's
I'll-
going to be a fire show.
I'll never be able to spell his name.
Never. And also, for those listening, if you're in the Montreal area, you can catch Joe and Mary's wedding, the interactive fake Italian wedding, March 28th at Embassy Plaza. I'll be there. I'm the brother of the bride.
Oh, that sounds like it's set up for tragedy.
Yeah.
It is. It's very tragic for my character anyway.
Aw.
When he walks in, they're probably gonna play this song.
Almost. I wish.
What, were you not good enough for the mother in this scenario too?
We're not getting it.
All right, so
Jeff, thank you so much for coming
hey,
back.
thank you for having me,
And,
guys. This was so much fun.
And we'll see you at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Goodbye.